The key to capitalism is innovation. And although profits are down, capitalists have come up with an ingenious plan to keep raking in the profits. Don't pay your workers. Who would have thought? According to Kim Bobo of Interfaith Worker Justice, says that claims over the last year are up 30%. Workers just not getting paid here in our country. And your recourse to the Department of Labor is not a very good option. When the Government Accounting Office created 10 test claims for labor's wage and hour division, 9 were mishandled and 5 not recorded at all. In 2 cases, the Department of Labor credited employers with having paid back wages when they hadn't. On March 24th, more than 400 members of Unite Here, Local 355, traveled to Miami Beach Resort Hotel to demonstrate and fight and organize during this economic crisis. Emmanuel Lopez, member of the Contract Negotiating Committee at the Isle Casino in Pompey Park, spoke about the need for workers to organize and fight together during this crisis. And I'd like to quote him. He said, "Every time a working person is laid off, they say it's because there's no money. Every day that a person goes sick because they don't have health care, or because they don't have quality health care, we know it is to protect their profits. Every time a family is thrown out on the streets because of foreclosure, it is to protect the so-called free market. The banks and corporations spoon-feed their excuses to workers while they continue to steal $9.5 trillion of the people's money in bailouts. We have to organize as working people to realize the demands that we are all fighting for. The right to a job, a union job that pays a living wage. The right to a free and universal health care. The right to free quality education. The right to free child care. And the right to retire no longer to be considered gifts from the politicians, banks, or corporations, but that these rights be considered human rights." Factory occupations are spreading across the United Kingdom. 50 people were sacked on Tuesday and are now on the roof of the Enfield plant, and others are holding a sit-in at a plant in Belsden in Essex. And of course the workers in Belfast are still occupying that plant. So some encouraging signs of militant workers standing together and demanding some recourse to their grievances. And here's some footage from the demonstrations at the G20 summit. A lot of footage has been given to these people breaking some windows at the Royal Bank of Scotland, but there were thousands of protesters protesting peacefully here. You know, apparently all you have to do to become an anarchist now is break a window. No, and I'm not saying that the people who broke the windows there weren't anarchists, but that's just the way the media treats things. Again, a lot of peaceful demonstrations, a lot of angry people of what's going on, and rightfully so. And here's some great images from that, and I'll continue to share some pictures as we get them in. But definitely some, you know, it's great to see so many people coming out and standing up and, you know, questioning capitalism. And I think that's what we're seeing at the G20 summit. A new and evolving feature of the labor news will be the Doug Jones Report. The term was first coined, to my knowledge, by the columnist Molly Ivins and Jim Hightower. And the idea behind it is that we as working people need something akin to the Dow Jones Report, but something that lets us know how the average working person is doing, and how I'll do that, and how you know, what statistics or information I'll use to get that point across will probably evolve. But to start it out with, the first example at least is unemployment. I think it's a good indicator of how we're doing as a people. We know that month after month unemployment has risen. The latest stats are out from from February to March, and seasonally adjusted basis, non-farm private employment decreased 742,000. I mean, you know, it's almost every month we're losing another 1 million jobs. Construction, I'll show you a couple graphs here. You can see that's what I do as a union carpenter. This graph shows both residential and non-residential, and they're both, you know, heading south quickly, and we've lost tons and tons of construction jobs. I know here in New York we have thousands of union carpenters out of work right now. I think the last time I checked, the out of work list was over 4,000 just in New York City alone. These are really rough times. As I mentioned earlier in the report, employers are increasingly turning to just not paying their employees. This primarily affects immigrant labor, people whose legal status may be questionable, and employers know this. They will hold it over their heads, and oftentimes those employees don't know what their legal rights are. They're afraid. They don't know what's going to happen if they contact the authorities. And in that vein, on Saturday, April 11th, 2009, there will be an immigration conference in Los Angeles. Links in the sidebar. If you're out on the West Coast, it's something to check out. It's definitely a part of the labor movement. We need to get these people legalized. Peace. On the East Coast, there's some huge actions. The Bail Out the People, Not the Banks March on Wall Street, which will be April 3rd and 4th. That's Friday and Saturday. There will be actions. Links in the sidebar. Check it out. And hopefully I'll have some footage to report back to you on the event.
Like the union men and women standing up and standing strong, like the unnamed and unnumbered who struggle brave and long, like the union men and women standing up and standing strong.